He's there. And now he's here. Mohamed Light, Sandbox, game one.
Sandy going fast here in game number one. Love that confidence.
And doing the Mo Light opening. That was not a thing you did with split wall breakers behind King Tower until the man on the left invented it.
And Momo looking like he might be going to E-Giant. Also parts of Graveyard here.
Certainly smells that way. Miner there to hold everything together and a NATO to clean it all up. Mohamed Light, maybe not totally happy with the way that went.
Either that or he was like, that is exactly what was supposed to happen. I'm in my zone right now. Cleans it all up. Baby Dragon gets on top of tower. He's got the lead early here in a match where your opponent is the one looking for more damage in single elixir.
First minute away. Sandbox opting not to eat that one. Had the skellies ready. And I love that we're seeing Sandbox confident playing bait or playing a cycle deck against Mohamed Light to open.
I like it. I mean, we've talked about outplayability for years now. Give yourself a chance. The other part of that, though, is when you have a deck that moves a lot faster, when you have cards that are a lot cheaper, if you make a mistake, it's very, very costly and hard to bounce back from.
And Mohamed just slowing things all the way down.
Sandbox making sure he's not going to give away that King Tower activation. NATO was completely out of the meta for quite some time, just came back in a couple months ago. That nerf was brutal, but now the coupling of units on the board and what's actually working in the meta as we're seeing right now with Baby Dragon, that was not exactly what Mo wanted. Baby Dragon still should get one little burp on tower.
Plenty for the Evo Ghost. Bowler picks up high. Wall breakers don't get touched by the bowler, and that forces out the hut.
And Minions doing some work here. Evo Knight, though, should be able to clean most up. Man, that Royal Ghost just does so much damage. And as we saw in that last matchup, as actually we've seen all day, you never want to let that Royal Ghost go invisible again.
This time switching sides. Miner to the back for Sandbox.
And there's the E-Giant.
E-Giant's not going to touch the breakers, though. NATO for King Tower activation.
Cannon going right into a Baby Dragon, though. That is not what Sandbox wants. And Minions putting in work. That range buff so effective against the E-Giant when before it was completely useless to play Minions on top of an E-Giant. Or near it, I should say.
And at the moment, as we are getting into sudden death overtime, it is Sandbox with this critical game one lead, 17-31 to 23-13, but we've seen this song play out before.
Yep.
Sandbox playing cycle, we're in double, we're getting closer to triple against E-Giant.
Well, it's really important for Sandbox is he's got to keep up the dual lane pressure. As you can see, and as you all know, when you're playing against E-Giant, the last thing you want is that perfect push to come together. And the best way to do that when you have a deck like Sandbox's, rely on your opposite lane pressure, rely on your cannons, your high DPS units, and just control the board, control the pace.
Bar barrels have been really nice for Sandbox so far. Mo sets up Bowler one more time to the left.
Baby Dragon has to get kited by that Miner. Minions come down. Minions going to get cleaned up for the most part with that Baby Dragon shot. And Evo Miner in front. There you go. An odd high cannon there. You think that's going to be sniped off the board. And Mo can see a big opening.
Second cannon to pull. Not enough for Lightning.
The double bowlers on the board. Cleaning up that Royal Ghost. Now we got the lineup. Bowler very healthy.
And what a save.
What a bar barrel. You are so right, Rich. Good damage on the right-hand side, though. Tower's basically even all across the board. Sandbox in the lead with 1584 being the lowest tower on Mo's side.
Mohamed changes lanes, goes to his strong side with the E-Giant, 40 seconds-ish remaining.
Rich, for how insane of a matchup this is, this room, you could hear a pin drop right now.
I mean, it's absolutely silent. Damage continues to stack up for Sandbox. Now E-Giants in both lanes.
30 seconds remaining. Sandbox is going to have to play the best defense of his life. Baby Dragon there. Lightning comes in to clean things up. Second cannon comes down. 1391.
Lightning wanted to predict.
Oh, the bowler lines up. The overwhelm. Mohamed Light endures.
NATO out for Mo. Sandbox already played Miner. Let's see if he goes something else that would have kind of that NATO gone value.
And a little little smile and look up there from Mo, and if you guys are familiar with watching him on broadcast, that is a horrifying smile. It looks sweet, but you know when you're playing against him and he's vibing, it's not a good place to be in. And he's playing Mortar. He's got my heart.
A lot on the board for Mohamed Light to deal with. Valk, Baby Dragon, Bowler on that left-hand lane.
That Ewiz is such an interesting pick. The stun ability is going to be very, very impactful throughout this matchup, and I think Mo's feeling good about what's happening.
Perfectly timed log. An ability to, maybe Mo didn't expect to go all the way past the bridge.
But that Bomber just walks off into no man's land. Cannoneer going to clean things up, and that Boss Bandit putting in some nice work. Going to be a good King Tower activation here from Sandy.
You see the little nod from both, the happy version from Sandbox, the slightly frustrated version from Mohamed.
And that's what Sandbox got to do. You spent your 10,000 hours playing this game. Make the interactions that you know, take the wins where you can get them, stay in it.
First 90 seconds away. So far, a little bit of chip damage on the right-hand side. Cannoneer for Mohamed Light, so it doesn't have the lead despite the damage so far.
And Berserker, such a great card in the game. So strong defensively, has enough HP to kite units like this Baby Dragon away. Mo's happy to take that fireball damage, and now we've seen the full deck come together here for Mohamed Light.
And very interesting, kind of this Mortar spammy combination. Dash 2 gets on the Valk.
Yeah, it's so interesting. You can get the Boss Bandit to come in and create space, get some damage in, and right there, huge damage.
Boy.
And that's exactly what I was just about to talk about. As soon as it starts, it's over. 204 remains. He's got Fireball, he's got Log, and if anyone can defend for 40 seconds, it's Mohamed Light.
Yeah, trying to break through against a Mortar on top of all that. The E-Wiz for the stun. And you kind of think you see Sandbox recognizing that, as we talked about, going from preparing for Igor to, oh my, I have to face Mohamed.
And he's going to take that fireball damage right there. Evo Mortar comes down, and this game happens so quickly. Sandbox, Mo Light, lower bracket, third, fourth place. Let's go.
Fire Spirit gets the jump with the Goblin Staves, and Tower's down at 2485. A phenomenal, I mean, you take a look at the cards that are played. Goblin Barrel, Fire Spirit, Guards, Bar Barrel, he should be receiving no damage. Instead, he's receiving a lot of damage, and a 200 HP lead and King Tower activation for Cal's Sandbox.
Wallbreaker split in the back. Sandbox definitely going away from what he usually plays. Gets the vines in. Damage kind of done there. Would have loved a little bit more, but Mo doing a great job of, you know, this is so funny. We actually had a conversation with Mo Light earlier today about how he is so good at knowing exactly where barrels are and the mind games that come with that. Sandbox already throwing to left. Mo there catching with a card instead of having to use his barb barrel.
Yeah, pretty aggressive vines right there, but gets a lot of damage. Dark Goblin again going in with these incredibly aggressive vines. And look, what we're seeing in CRL is aggression is okay. You can be aggressive, and we're not really used to that from previous years.
And Mo a little frustrated, you can see by the aggression that is being thrown his way, but the lack of counter push and the lack of elixir lead that you would hope to get when your opponent is that defensive. Mo's taking a lot of damage. He doesn't have anything to show for it at the moment. And the double barrel in, plus the wall breakers.
And again, getting aggressive, and again, both hitting. Berserker going crazy on the right side. We can't even talk about that because the left side is down to 11-15.
And you see kind of a gasp on Mo's face and a gasp from the crowd here. Just taking so much damage here as we tick in to the final minute of regulation. Aggressive Fire Spirit at the bridge baits out the Evo Tesla because he can't take more damage.
I mean, this is just a new way to play this matchup. Here we go, Mohamed Light trying to reset. We're in double elixir, and that's going to be a very expensive play, but he's able to catch everything, the Dark Goblin and the cannon.
Berserker needs to put damage in right now. Firecracker connects on top of Tower 2, and that is a huge moment for Mo Light. Firecracker still alive. Doesn't get a second shot on Tower. 12:39, 11:15. Another Hog Rider comes in. This should be nice cleanup here for Sandbox. A bit of an overspend there by Mo. A great Vines.
Right there, Bar Barrel going to be able to perfectly predict, gets the Goblin Barrel cleaned up very nicely, and Sandbox still has the lead, but what was 1,500 is now down to 100.
12:39, 11:15, now getting into overtime. Sandbox thinking about keeping pressure up in the opposite lane. Berserker and Dark Goblin working down the right-hand side. Barrel goes left on the inside. Mo can see it from a mile away.
Yeah, I believe that was just one tile too far into the middle.
Yeah.
It made it a little bit too obvious. Firecracker plus E-Spirit going to be able to block one of the wall breakers from getting into the tower, but not enough. Evo Valk on defense, and now, after such a strong start, Muhammad Light takes the lead.
Yeah, evening things up is Mo, and right back on offense. Gonna have to use the vines up high. Sandbox knows that's gonna line up the Firecracker. Now the Hog's gonna get on top of tower, and as quickly as Sandbox started this game, Muhammad Light finishes in 2. Final match of the day. And a high Archer Queen to start. And the aggression doesn't stop in game 2 for Sandbox. Poison on Valk, poison on the hut. Queen ability in, down just 1 elixir. Mo cycles a snowball.
Snowball forces out the Ice Spirit from Sandbox to protect the tower. Ice Spirit plus Miner not going to get any damage because of a brilliant Berserker placed just in time by Muhammad Light. And again, we're seeing Drill plus the Bomber forces out the Bar Barrel on defense on the Bomber. And the Ghost plus Skellies, that's going to be a little bit of damage. One little Goblin stab on top of the tower, getting it down to 28-52.
And Royal Ghost working down the left-hand side.
Can't catch it once again. Berserker to the right, Valk to the left.
Yeah, very interesting for Sandbox to just go minor poison control here, thinking that he can outplay Mo in the micro. And he does have some good responses for the Drill, the Barrel, the Skellies, the Ice Spirit, the Royal Ghost, all going to be great ways to kind of keep it at bay. And of course, the Miner, always going to be hard to pick up, but some good responses for Muhammad Light.
Bomber doesn't get the second shot, so it is going to force out another card in response. Berserker comes down. Sandbox going to try and clean that up nicely. And an interesting Goblin Hut, placing it as high as he did. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I think that's just another thing that I'm learning. I get it. You're trying to get a little bit aggressive and get some more value that you usually don't. So I like the play, I really do.
Yeah, you're hoping that you're Spear Goblins. And there it is. We talked about this play yesterday when AC and I were on, when Juicy and I were on broadcast. That's the play. You go Drill, you go Rocket, takes the Ghost out of play, and then you get the Evo Snowball in. I love that they just pulled that off after we talked about it yesterday.
See Muhammad Light a little bit upset. One of the interactions not going his way. Most of the other ones doing so, though, and both towers very close to each other, but I mean, really, that's okay if you're Muhammad Light. The Drill plus the Rocket, that's an easy 1,200 HP worth of damage once he gets the triple elixir. And there we go, getting very aggressive. A lot of these Drill Rocket players wait a little bit longer, but he knows how good his defense is, and he's okay with doing it.
1670 down, and knows that the Bar Barrel or Skellies, anything that gives Rocket value is going to come down there with the Royal Ghost on the opposite side of the board. 21-13, 1670. Is the same lane the way to go for the rest of this bout for both these guys, AC?
Yeah, I think you have to, but it really is close. I'm surprised that he went Archer Queen opposite lane, but I believe it's getting a lot of value. Should be able to get 2 swings on top of the tower, and we are going to see that. I mean, Sandbox putting in a lot of work, getting a lot of pressure on these towers.
Really nice Ice Spirit just a moment ago from Mo, right as the Archer Queen popped her ability. And that should be a reset. Couple shots in, 3 shots in on that left-hand side, and things are even once again.
Yeah,
Valkyrie
right
to
there.
go to the back. The Valkyrie went to the back, and the Royal Ghost gets on tower.
And that's going to happen again, getting the tower down to 647.
And Sandbox screams back into this battle, almost eliminated, now in the lead.
Muhammad Light, it would have been better not to place a troop at that point, getting the tower down to 463. Evo Valk not understanding its priorities. And right there, Snowball gonna provide a little bit of value, but 1390, 463, this is looking like it's insurmountable.
Nice pause there on the Skellies, making sure he doesn't give Mo too much value. Drill goes to the front, Hut's there, AQ's there, Rocket comes in, Poison goes out. 50 seconds remain. This is a foot race, and Sandbox has the lead.
Right there, Miner forces out the Snowball. It is going to activate King Tower. Very nice looking play, and technically there's still some sort of opportunity.
That hut being used now, knowing that his opponent is happy to rocket away, but he has the lead, is such an interesting way to defend. But it really paints Mo into a tough spot. And there you go. We're going to game 3.
Sandbox and Mohamed Light.
Mohamed Light, the only former world champion left in the mix. The only person able to get that 3-time championship. Does it come to an end here? Does Sandbox make this the greatest run of his career? It already has been.
Nice little Fire Spirit going to be able to hop onto the Inferno Dragon and the Fisherman. And does he get any time? He doesn't, but this is an interesting interaction.
Things getting a little ugly here for Mo. That Executioner is tanking the snowball, and that's gonna get on tower, and I think he still has a dash. He still has a dash.
Right there, Boss Bandit chipping away at the tower. 3 shots, almost a 4th. Gets the tower down to 1657. Perfection of a start for Sandbox. How does he want to respond to the Inferno Dragon? You knew it was going to be a great response. Guards forcing out a 2 elixir log, so 1 elixir to stop that Inferno Dragon.
And the Inferno just gets a little sizzle on that tower. 4 cards played for Sandbox, and the tower was already down to 1600. Guards come out as the 5th. He takes a lick of damage, 2976, 1657, working in the same lane.
Wow.
Heal Spirit in both decks. Wow.
We are probably not going to see that for a while. Sandbox pretty low though, and you see him shake his head because, I mean, this is a lot coming down the lane. These Heal Spirit decks, as funky as they are, they can put in work, especially with this Inferno Dragon.
I think Mo just recognized Sandbox spent a little too much, and that is a perfect lightning, my goodness, but down a lot of elixir is Sandbox. Ticking to 8 is Mo, ticking to 4 is Sand. How does Mo want to punish?
Yeah, luckily going into double elixir, so not the end of the world for Sandbox, but definitely not a good situation either. And both of these players just coming up with something new.
Talk about that lightning being a lifesaver, Josh. That was such a great lightning time by Sandbox to stop what would have been a tower-taking push. And the Evil Royal Ghost gets kited over to the right-hand side, and I don't know if that's what Mo wanted. RG down, 6 elixir to defend. Boss Bandit making work on the right-hand side still.
Yeah, and I don't know what he has for this.
The Heal
Fireball
Spirit
plus the Ghost, the Heal Spirit putting in work.
The Ghost goes down! I mean, excuse me, the Exy goes down! And Sandbox is now finding himself in a similar situation as game number 1.
I mean, these Boss Bandits, they're getting value, but it's just not enough. That's the problem with the 6 elixir card. As good as it is, as much value as it gets, sometimes it's just not enough. In this game, it's just difficult. He's not setting up the right pushes. Mohamed Light is just controlling the arena after that opening start.
And now the Evo Exy here to clean things up. Ram Rider finally comes down to slow the RG. This should be a relatively nice cleanup. Goes for the Zappies in the middle. Mo plays with the left-hand side. Great defensive play there by Mo.
You almost wonder if Mo is nodding his head because he respected the prediction or if he was just happy it didn't work out. And right there, Zappies plus Ghost. Ghost is going to disappear and respawn with a little bit more ghouls. There it is.
And now needs to stop this RG.
He
Yesterday.
Okay.
Evo. Oh, and it still gets a shot in. Fireball on the furnace.
This is looking like it's over.
This should do it.
It gets there.
Mo Light stays alive, and Sandbox's dream run finally comes to an end from the GOAT.